Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Nicole Colburn, and I'm the Customer Marketing Leader for GeoStar. And today I have the pleasure of also being the moderator for this webinar. Today's webinar will be recorded and shared on OneLink for your use. We'll have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar, and at that time you'll be able to unmute yourself and speak directly with today's speakers. In the meantime, you're welcome to send in your questions as they come to mind by typing them into the chat or the question and answer feature, and I'll make sure that we cover them. Lastly, if your computer doesn't have a good microphone or good speakers, excuse me, I invite you to leave the presentation running on your computer for the visual and use your telephone to dial in with the phone number and information provided in your invitation. That way you'll have clear audio and you'll be able to speak directly with us if you'd like to. Now I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Residential Product Manager, Kent Kuffner.
Thank you, Nicole. With me, I've got Aaron Lindsay, our Residential Engineering Manager. So thanks for all of you for joining us today. Appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day to learn about what's going on with some of the things that we've been working on with GeoStar. As you know, last year was a flurry of activity with all the changes that we needed to make, the transition from the R410A to R454. We literally needed to touch every unit that we build in some way. And so that was a huge effort. So I want to send my thanks to our GeoStar engineering team and production team for making that happen. So Aaron's team deserves a lot of credit for making that happen. So thank you, Aaron. We've got some updates that we want to cover today. These are fairly minor. It's not like it's a new big revolutionary product, but we've got quite a few of them that we've been working on, and they're kind of all happening and being released at around the same time. So even though these aren't big projects, we thought we'd kind of group them all together into one webinar update and kind of give you the news of where we are and what's new and what changes you're going to see here. So here's what we're going to cover in today's webinar. We're going to cover the new thermostat and how it is applied as a main stat for zoning applications. We'll talk about a new thermostat cover plate, a new indoor air quality ionization device. Talk about buffer tanks. We know that's been a topic of conversation quite a bit. So we'll show you what we're going to do about that. I've got a little news on the cooling tower and some price book updates. So that's what we're going to cover today. So Aaron, you want to start off by talking about the new thermostat?
Yeah, I think you advanced 2 slides. There we go. So the new Onyx-based thermostat, or the TPCC 32U03, replaces the U02 GSR thermostat. It's a communicating 3 heat 2 cool thermostat with the auto changeover for the heat and cool mode. The screen size is 4.3 inch diagonally, and that is almost identical to the U02 thermostat that it's replacing. Kent's got both of those held up there so you can see. The U03, I think, has a much better graphics look to it and tactile feel versus the U02, so I think that'll be a good bonus for us. It's got some updated graphics. When we first launched that thermostat, we did not have the energy monitoring feature turned on. That got turned on with version 4.06, so that is available. It's got the hydronic functionality for the Aston Series 3D units. One thing that I think is kind of neat, instead of the screw terminals on the U02, now we go to spring clips on the U03, so I think it makes it a little easier for the techs in the field to install them. And the GeoStar logo is in the sleep screen, so it's programmed in when it leaves the factory here. And there shows you the overall size and no price change to that thermostat. And it's only available in white.
And just as another point of reference, I'll hold it up compared to my cell phone. So it's got a very similar size to my iPhone here. And so I think you're really going to like the looks of it. It's a nice upgrade to the old O2 thermostat with a big plastic bevel around the outside. So with that all glass front, the new graphics, you're really going to like that one if you haven't seen it yet.
So now I'm going into some of the screens. there kind of in the middle shows the screens that are available to the homeowner. So really nothing really changes there. We do have the energy monitoring shown there to the right-hand side. So that screen, and then also in menu 2 down there in the bottom, we show this screen cleaning screen, and that's kind of I'd say a better feature on the UO3 than what it was on the UO2. Once you click on that screen cleaning, it'll pop up for 30 seconds, count down from 30. Once it gets down to 0, there'll be a back button down in the corner, but the display kind of stays asleep while you're in that mode, so you can do your cleaning and not worry about hitting buttons and doing all kinds of weird changes that you don't want it to take place. This is the installer screen. So there's 4 screens on the installer screen. These mimic pretty much 100% what the UO2 was previously.
So got a few slides here that try to explain the transition from the old thermostat to the new thermostat. So that's what I'll go through here. And this first one is just a simple installation with a single unit with a standalone thermostat, no zoning. So you're going from the O2 thermostat to the new O3 thermostat. It's pretty simple, pretty obvious there. This one is a little different, with a 3D series unit. In the Aston, we had this old the push button thermostat, the TP32UO4, I believe, that was used with the Cypress. When we transitioned to the Aston 3D in the R454, that thermostat was not could not be used. So we introduced the Aston 3D unit with this new thermostat that is also set up for hydronic functionality. We did also require that you purchase our buffer tank with it, and we're going to talk about more about that buffer tank in a few minutes. But that would be the installation difference with Aston 3D. And with IntelliZone, so the one thing to remember is the IntelliZone board didn't change. The part number did, because we needed to differentiate it from the old thermostat. And now that we've got the new thermostat in the white, we put a W there in the part number to indicate that IntelliZone kit now comes with a white thermostat. We're also changing the designation or the name. We're not using the term master stat anymore. We're going to main stat. Another thing to understand is that the relay board, as I mentioned, the sensor. By the way, if you're hearing a roar of thunder above us, that's the fighter jets practicing above our heads here. So sorry about the noise there. The relay board and the sensor and the harness are still included. None of that changes. The main change is the option, or is the use now of the new O3 stat as the main stat. We didn't change the price, so that holds true. So that's the main difference there. By the way, the O2 stats, I don't think we mentioned it. These are we shouldn't say obsolete, but they're out of stock now. We're not getting any more of these, so we depleted our inventory. So you won't see any more. You won't be able to order these as a zone stat, as a master stat, or as a single standalone stat. Then for the individual zone controls, when you're using zoning, you had 2 options. It's that the one on the left there is what we call the zone stat, and that has the kind of a push button kind of screen for it. It looks pretty old and antiquated. Or you could use the O2 thermostat as a zone stat. So now that inventory is depleted, you've got your choice now between either the existing zone stat or the O3 stat to use as a zone stat. Aaron, take us through what's happening with the Aston Series 3D and zoning.
Yeah, so as you guys are probably patiently awaiting the addition of the Aston 3D zoning, we were working on it. It'll have, so the main stat will have both the air side and hydronic functionality built into it. The tank temperature is still going to be selectable through the aid tool for the dealer to set up, so the homeowner doesn't have access to that. We've got several units in field test, and right now we're going to say Q1 of 2026 for availability. It just depends on how this field test goes. We've found some bugs. We're working through those. If we get to a point we feel comfortable, we may release it yet by the end of the year, but we'll see how that goes.
And if you look at the screen, there is a tank temperature that's shown there, so the homeowner will be able to see that. They just can't adjust it. So that's a dealer option only. Yeah.
So IZ 224 volt, really no changes. We just changed out the master stat for the main stat. It's the white bezeled UO3 main stat. No other changes. It's available now as well, and no price change on it.
So if you buy the IntelliZone 24 volt today, you'll get that new 03 stat.
Yeah, along with any of these,
Right.
any of the zoning
Right.
systems now because of the UO2 being depleted. So another thing we wanted to talk to you about is the IntelliZone troubleshooting kit. It's part number Z2TK03 is the new part number. The old part number was Z2TK. We just added the 03 or the 03 on the end to match up with the UO3 thermostat. So it will come with a back plate, as shown here, that you can put the back plate, wiring harness, put it down by your heat pump. That way, when you're going through configuring or troubleshooting an IZ2 system, you can do that down in the basement or near the heat pump in the closet without moving back and forth between all your zones. So this is a really neat tool that if you got the capability to upsell this, I think this is a good upsell for you guys out there. Right now, we're working on getting the back plates in, and we're hoping to have them in and have this available in the November timeframe.
Thank you. Another thermostat related product is this cover plate. I know for those of you who have been installing thermostats for many years, you know that a lot of times when you install one thermostat where the old thermostat was, sometimes you have holes that are exposed. So this back plate is a little bit larger than the thermostat. You can see the photos down there, and it's actually 4x6, so it extends the coverage, so to speak, on the wall another ½ inch on each side around the thermostat. So it's available in white, but if you want a different color, you can always spray paint it. But they will be available later this month. But this will be something that might come in handy, and they're going to be fairly inexpensive. So you won't need it for every job, but for those that do, it's surely an easier way to cover up those holes rather than start working with a drywall paint. We're also going to be introducing a new ionization device. The current one we have there that you see in the blue box, the BIS FC24, has been discontinued by the supplier. So we found another roughly equivalent device that has the same kind of performance and output. It looks a little different, but it's going to be available soon, and it delivers millions of ions during operation. What those ions do is they make they accumulate on the debris and dust particles and other contaminants in the air. And so what that does is makes the filter just that much more efficient by being able to capture those large particles. So these are going to be available. You're going to get these in a set of 2. You see the photo of the installation down there on the blower wheel. So that's probably the way you're going to install those in most cases. It's an easy installation right onto the ABC board. So we're going to include the harness that connects the two devices to the board. So nice thing to add to your portfolio. A lot of homeowners are concerned about indoor air quality these days. And when we first introduced that blue device back during COVID, it was a big hit. So we want to continue that option, that availability with a slightly new device. So you'll see pricing and all the information coming out on this shortly. But, yeah, we expect to have that, probably ready to go, by the end of the next month. So we talked a little bit about buffer tanks. So, for those of you who have installed our 3D units, since we transitioned to R454, you know that we've required the use of our control in our buffer tank. And that was met with some resistance and some requests to consider other options. We know you folks have options when it comes to buffer tanks. You've got your preferences. We think we've got a real nice tank, by the way. But some of you feel that you've got a better option, whether it's more features or a better price, better availability, local availability, whatever. And so we respect that. So what we're going to do to make to continue the reliability and the performance that we want to see out of that 3D unit, we needed to supply you with some kits that will help you transition from your tank to our unit. And so we're going to be offering these 4-size kits, 3/4 through 2-inch. They're bungs with basically a port where you can install our thermistor. So these kits will include the bung and the thermistor, and you'll simply wire that thermistor into P17 on the XB2 board. And that will ensure us that we're going to be getting the kind of performance and reliability that we need out of the 3D unit. So we're not short cycling. We found through our warranty claims that many of the failures we had on compressors with 3D units or with our old Cypress unit, as it was called before we transitioned, were due to short cycling. And this device will eliminate that. So we want to make sure that that we keep that reliability, that integrity in the system by doing this. But we also want to give you options with regards to buffer tanks. We're going to continue to sell our buffer tanks, but if you choose to use your buffer tank, then you'll just need to use one of these kits with a thermistor and hook it up that way. So we're anticipating having these kits available in December. We're also going to make some new recommendations for buffer tank sizing. So we know there's different ways to size buffer tanks. We've been kind of stuck with the one more conservative, more traditional approach. But we realize there's lots of different applications where you don't necessarily need an 80 or 120 gallon tank. So we're going to make some new recommendations, make some new options for that as well. So that's where we are with buffer tanks. More to come. Watch for that information and those kit availability very soon.
Yeah, one thing to add to that is we're looking at adding calculator into GeoLink
Right.
to help with those new recommendations on buffer tank sizing.
Right. Good point.
So our cooling tower, CT096, is used to temporarily get a geosystem up and running in the cooling system in the cooling season. We've had some issues with pump availability. The pump that we currently use was discontinued. We've been trying to find a new pump. We believe we've found one. We're trying to get some in and check for fit on those. But the cooling towers have been orders have been stopped on those or put on hold. We're hoping to get these new pumps in, check them out, and then hopefully sometime in the December timeframe, turn the cooling tower back on for orders.
Thank you. So a lot of these things we talked about will be included in the new price book, which you'll probably see next week. We'll include all this new thermostat and IntelliZone information and the part numbers, the ionization device, buffer tanks, the thermistor sets, thermostat cover plates. So you'll see this shortly here. One good piece of news here, we're not changing the unit pricing. We're just adding these new devices or new parts and changing anything that's been deleted or changed. So watch for that next week. And a couple other updates we're working on right now, which we won't share a lot of information about at this time. But like I said, last year was just a crazy amount of activity with transitioning all the R410A products to R454. We literally had to touch every unit So we had to make some choices as far as maybe postponing the release of some of the lower volume units. So a couple examples of those are the 2.5 and 3.5 ton splits and the 3-ton water to waters. So those were kind of delayed in our transition development schedule. So we're actively working on those now. They are active projects, and we're don't have an actual date that we can give you at this time, but we're well into the process. So we're making good progress on those. More information on those when we get a little closer to the release date. We're also working on a new zone thermostat. We talked about being able to use the O3 stat as a zone stat and those old little push button thermostats. But I think you're going to like this one even better. This is a small device. It's only about 3/4 of an inch thick. You can see how it compares in size to my iPhone. So it's about half the size of my iPhone. Digital display, touch screen, can be available in either this graphite color or white. So we expect to have this within a couple months. Working on finalizing the firmware and the software, and then getting some samples in from our supplier and doing some testing. So more work to be done on that, but I think that's an exciting new addition to what you see, what you're going to see available with regards to zoning. Another thing we're working on, if you attended our GeoStar sales meeting a couple weeks ago here in Fort Wayne, we're working on a Symphony Contractor Connect app. And what this app will do is basically replace the need and the use of the A tool. So this app will be available to use on a cell phone or a tablet. You can use in the field, and it'll do everything and a lot more than the A tool does. So a pretty slick device. We're making good progress as far as developing that. We've got some testing to do and some connection issues to work through as far as authorizations and things like that. So we're working through that, but I think you're going to be excited about its capabilities and its use and its functionality and its ease of use. And we're going to get to a point at one point where the A tool is going to be discontinued. We don't have a date for that yet. It's not going to happen real soon, but we want to get folks. We want to get this in your hands so that we can start to think about a date for the transition for the A tool. So the A tool is kind of running out of memory. So we're limited on what we can do, what more we can do than we've already got as far as its capabilities today. So we're going to have to transition to a new technology, and we think this Symphony Contractor Connect app is going to be it's going to be a great new tool for you for not only service and installation, but troubleshooting and a lot of other things too. So we'll have videos and access to installation manuals and troubleshooting guides and things like that too. So you're going to like that. So more information to come on that as we get closer to releasing that. And I'm sure you're all aware of the residential tax credits are scheduled to be discontinued at the end of this year. So we are actively working on projects, and by projects I mean products and programs and other things that we need to start working on and we need to implement now and into 2026, so that we're the impact of the residential tax credit loss is minimized. So we've got a list of over a dozen products that we're looking at. We're looking at the opportunity, the volume that those might bring us. We're looking at the applications. We're looking at our ability to do that within a time frame. So we're going to be prioritizing those and identifying those that are going to give us the best bang for our buck. So be assured that we're not stopping development or innovation here at GeoStar. We're going to continue to bring you the products and programs that you expect and that you need in an era of no tax credits. So more to come on that. One interesting development that we may see more of rather than tax credits is third-party ownership. So that brings a great potential to how geothermal systems are sold and owned and operated on the residential side. So more to come on that. But be assured that we want to position ourselves and position you folks for with the products and programs that you need to be successful, even without residential tax credits. So more to come on that as we fine tune that list and start to develop the list and timelines of products and programs that we're going to release. So watch your e-news and watch for more webinars on some of those things. All right, so that's the topics that we wanted to cover, but let's open it up for questions. So back to you, Nicole.
Okay, let's see. I don't have anything in the question and answer, the chat, and I don't have any hands raised. So does anyone have any questions you'd like to ask? You can also select the microphone to the right of your name, and you can unmute yourself if you'd like to talk with Kent and Aaron directly. Okay, looks like we just had a question that came in. Using a third-party buffer tank will not void warranty, correct?
Correct. If you're using our bung kits with a thermistor.
And the tank sizing.
Right, and the tank guidelines, yes.
Okay, and the next question is, what is the purpose of the bungs for the buffer tank?
So they're basically adapter fittings, and we came up with the bung kits. So it's basically a machined piece of brass that will fit into a port on the tank. We designed them so that we know we can get flow around that sensor, or the thermistor, so we know that we're getting a good temperature. We know that there's some tanks out there that have thermal wells. We looked at trying to do a sensor for them, but it'd be like 2 or 3 different sensors for the different tanks. A lot of those, we weren't really overly impressed with how the thermistors kind of attached in there. A lot of them, you just take thermal paste, shove in there and put the thermistor in. There was no good way without like zip tying it to hold it into place. So we came up with the fittings. It's how we do our tanks today. We know it works. So that's kind of the reason why we did it.
Okay.
The other thing to point out is, like, if you go out and buy a 2-inch adapter down to 1/8 inch, you're probably going to shroud the thermistor enough that we're afraid you're not going to get the right temperature reading. So you may actually be overshooting or undershooting on your temperature. So like I said, this is kind of machined out on that backside. There's not a lot of room, but there's enough room that we feel that the water is going to go around that sensor and give us a good accurate temperature.
Okay. And any other questions? We have a quiet group this afternoon. Don't forget, you can send it in through the Q&A, the chat, or you can unmute yourself if you'd like to talk directly with us. Okay, last call. Okay, just as a reminder, this recording of the webinar will be posted on one link for everyone. Kent, Aaron, oh, we did have some just came in.
Yeah, thanks again for joining us. We'll wrap this up. We appreciate your time and your dedication to GeoStar and the geothermal technology. So be assured that we appreciate your business and your loyalty. And we know you have choices out there. So be assured that the GeoStar team is working every day to bring you the kinds of products and programs that you expect and deserve from us. And so we're committed to that. And as you've heard John Thomas say in the past, if we make a mistake, we're going to make it right for you. So we're going to do everything we can to continue to support you and to build our business beyond where we are today and help you grow. We've got a lot of great opportunities out there, a lot of great things happening with our portfolio and in the marketplace. So we're positive about where we can be, where we're going with new products and programs beyond 2025. Having a great year. So again, thanks to you for helping us make that happen. And we appreciate your time, appreciate your dedication, and thanks for your time today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules for this about half-hour webinar that we could update you on what's going on, some of the stuff that's coming out in the fourth quarter, potentially beginning of first quarter 26. We're excited about some of these new additions, so hopefully you guys are too.
Great. Yep, absolutely. A lot more to come. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.